Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished invitees, for those of you who have come from all over the world to be here in Indonesia, we extend a very warm welcome to beautiful Bali. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Amanda, and it is my pleasure to be your MC for the next 3 days. We have gathered here this morning for Voice, Viable and Operable Ideas for Child Equality International Conference 2018, with the theme of finding scientific answers to the 21st century challenges for families, communities, and public policy. This conference is co-hosted by Center on Child Protection and Wellbeing at the University of Indonesia, or the PUSKAPA, along with Care and Protection of Children, or the CPC Learning Network at Columbia University. It has also been made possible with the support of our partners, UNICEF Indonesia, Linea Project, Kompak, the Asia Foundation, Georgetown University, and AIPJ2. Already present in our midst today are our honorable guests. I would like to welcome Bapak Pungky Sumadi, Deputy for Population and Manpower of the Indonesian Ministry of National Development Planning, or the BAPPENAS, Bapak Ahmed Mushtaq Chowdhury, Vice President of BRAC from Bangladesh, Bapak Howard Taylor, Executive Director of the Global Partnership to End Violence Against Children, Ibu Santi Kusumaningrum, Director of PUSKAPA, and Bapak Mark Canavera, Co-Director of CPC Learning Network. Without further ado, let's start today's program by inviting the Director of PUSKAPA, Ibu Santi Kusumaningrum, and Co-Director of CPC Learning Network, Bapak Mark Canavera, to provide their opening remarks and to officiate the opening of this conference. Ibu Santi dan Bapak Mark, the stage is yours.
It may not sound very exciting to watch a think tank on child protection and family welfare be born and grow. But I can promise you that accompanying PUSKAPA on this path has been absolutely magical. What is so special about PUSKAPA, which has become a national, regional, and global leader in developing innovative, practical research to improve the lives of children and families? I simply want to suggest 3 things that PUSKAPA demonstrates so well for all of us to learn from. First, we're learning from your example that dedication to local and national causes generates learning that is important for the world. Your cutting-edge research on topics like civil registration and vital statistics systems and social protection schemes help us understand how to improve complex systems. Indonesia is no simple place to understand, and it's not an exaggeration to say that your efforts to improve birth registration for children in Indonesia will have ripples throughout the world. We also see in PUSKAPA's example the very unique role that academia can play in bridging the worlds of policy, practice, and research. Bridging these 3 areas is absolutely vital to the CPC Learning Network's vision, and when we watch PUSKAPA in action, we know that this approach can generate true learning. Learning in the sense of the word that not only improves the lives of children and families, but helps policymakers and helps service providers, both government and non-government, to understand why and how processes need to change. Academia has a critical role in fostering this dialogue, and rather than being outside of policy and practice debates, PUSKAPA and we need to bring this rigor and these methods into the fold to improve not only the practices, but the processes by which we reach them. Finally, PUSKAPA demonstrates leadership in action, and nobody better than Pak Irwanto, who's down here. Applause for Pak Irwanto. and Santi Kusumaningrum. As you applause for Santi, which we'll have many opportunities to do this week. As you spend time with the PUSKAPA team this week, you will see how its leaders are building the next generation to take this important work far into the future. One of the most beautiful elements of Irwanto and Santi's leadership is how invested they are already in the next generation of leaders. And that is an approach that is very beautifully non-egotistical and focused on others and on the future. So thank you for that. We're proud not only of PUSKAPA, but delighted to join hands with you to welcome you to this conference.
Thank you, Mark. Wow, let's see if I can follow that. Thank you, Mark, for those beautiful and kind words. And with that, a very good morning to all of you here. Pungky, thank you for agreeing to come to this conference. And I will try to name all of you who are sitting in front one by one. Howard, thank you. Nick, Pak Irwanto, Mustaq, Pak Maliki, Pak Pungkas, and Sabine. And of course, to all of you who are sitting at the back. So I'm gonna try and read so I don't forget anything. So it is our pleasure to welcome all of you here in Bali, Indonesia. And we have here with us around over 200 participants who are coming in from 26 different countries. And that just makes this conference a truly international one. And I'm proud to say, and I also very confidently say that I think this is one of the kind that's ever being held in this country as well as in this region. So we have here with us, if you look to your right and to your left, we have researchers, we have development practitioners, we have humanitarian workers, we have policymakers, but we also have young leaders sitting among us. And for the next 3 days, they're going to be conversing about scientific evidence and how to turn them into meaningful action for children. We in PUSKAPA believe that research and advocacy excellence must benefit society at large. And we try to embody that not only in how we do things every day, but also in planning this conference. So you will see that in this conference, the clear message is basically two things. One is that evidence and research should directly contribute to policy making and program implementation. And two, learnings from program implementation should directly improve the quality of research, improve the quality of practice, and also improve consistently the way we do things and the way we take actions. We are gonna spend 3 days here together to converse about difficult things, about problems concerning children. And these are problems that I often say as problems which are often overlooked or misunderstood. So for the next 3 days, I invite you to unpack our own misunderstandings, to unpack our own ignorance about the issues concerning children around us. We will have abstract presenters, we will have policy thinkers presenting their ideas, we will have program implementers sharing the success and probably some failure story of what they did. But I also want you to get Indonesia a little bit better. So that's why in a number of different sessions, you will see country in focus, and we will be sharing with you what we learn and what we know about Indonesia as a country. So lastly, I would like to express my gratitude to CPC and the whole team who have been offering their kind partnership over how many years now? 10 years so far. And also for the generous support from our partners, the government of Indonesia, UNICEF, the Australian government program Compact, AIPJ2, the Asia Foundation, Linea Project, and Georgetown University. Last but not least, let me also express my highest appreciation to my team in PUSKAPA, who has been, for months and months, take on the challenge, the ups and downs of putting together a conference like this at this scale and made it their own. So I would like to invite you to spot them around the room. They will be wearing a black ID card like this, and thank them. Enjoy the conference.
I'd like to invite Ibu Santi dan Bapak Mark to officiate the opening of this conference by striking the gong. Maybe Ibu Santi can start first, followed by Bapak Mark. Let's give another warm welcome to the Voice Conference 2018, the first of its kind in the country. Thank you, Ibu Santi dan Bapak Mark, for the opening remarks. Moving along to our next program of the day, we would like to hear from Bapak Pungky Sumadi, Deputy for Population and Manpower of the BAPPENAS, to deliver a keynote speech. Silakan, Pak Pungky.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Mr. Howard Taylor, Executive Director, Global Partnership to End Violence Against Children. Mr. Ahmed Mustaq Raza Chowdhury, Vice Chairperson of BRAC. Ibu Santi Kusumaningrum, PUSKAPA's Director. Mark Canavera, CPC Co-Director. And distinguished speakers, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me a great pleasure to be here this morning amongst friends from both overseas and Indonesia. And let me wish you all of you very welcome to Indonesia, and in Bahasa Indonesia we call it Selamat Datang. First, I'd like to congratulate both PUSKAPA and CPC Learning Network for their hard work in organizing Voice International Conference. Being a partner of CPC, I have closely followed the journey of PUSKAPA since its infancy. And it is a pleasure for me to share with you that actually I know how PUSKAPA develops, I know how PUSKAPA grows, and being from a small university-based research and advocacy organization just over a decade ago, now it becomes one of the leading child protection research and advocacy organizations. The government of Indonesia acknowledges children as not only people under 18, a group of people under 18, but also they are full citizens of the nation and therefore deserve full protection of the government. Recognizing the cross-cutting nature of child protection and well-being, the government is fully committed to prioritizing the issue as a central position of this administration. This conference cannot come at a better time because we agreed actually to achieve the SDG goals that has 17 goals and 169 measurable targets and have aligned them into our own development plans. Those common goals are also integrated into our policies, strategies, and programs of the current 5-year plan, and it will also remain in the next 5-year plan. Critical to accomplishing SDGs and the success of the 5-year plan itself, child protection and well-being as children accounts for about 87 million people. So we must invest in our children if we are to successfully meet our SDG goals and long-term national goals. The Indonesian constitutional duty to protect all children was first mentioned in the 1998 amendment to the Constitution and was reiterated by the passage of the Child Protection Law. Also, in multiple international and regional commitments. Apart from fulfilling legal obligations and upholding Indonesia's founding principles, there are multiple benefits to investing in children, including national economic growth and social stability. Investing in children represents an investment in human capital. When children's development needs are met, they can reach their full development potential as adults and contribute productively to society, earn income, and advance economic growth and development. Not only does this investment lead to greater participation and contribution to society, but it also reduces costs associated with illness and employment. Early childhood represents a critical window of opportunity to address poverty, inequality, and poor health and promote physical, intellectual, socio-emotional, and cognitive development. Deprivation during early childhood can lead to impairment throughout an individual's life course, often resulting in multi-generational cycles in which extreme poverty, less schooling, and increased exposure to violence limit an individual's ability to lead a healthy and productive life and break out of the cycle. Research has shown that the return on investment is 7 to 10% greater when investments are made during early childhood rather than in older ages. The Indonesian government has had relatively high levels of success across multiple indicators from the year of 2015 to 2017. Net attendance rates for primary and lower secondary school remain consistently high across provinces, while attendance for upper secondary school increased from 71 to 80%. High levels of completion for primary and secondary school were also sustained from these years. In the area of health, the number of children under 5 who had not received any vaccines decreased from 9% to 6%. Health insurance coverage also increased from 42% to 50% during this time. While there has been considerable improvement on some indicators, progress has stalled or even reversed in certain areas of child health, social welfare, and protection, with persistent disparities across provinces. The percentage of children under 5 who receive no vaccines decreased since 2015. Several provinces have disproportionately high numbers of unvaccinated children, indicating severe marginalization. In Papua and Aceh, for example, approximately 1 in 5 children under 5 were completely unvaccinated in 2017. Moreover, 50% of children on average are still not covered by our social health insurance, which coverage rates as low as 22% in Papua and 25% in South Sumatra. There are also indications that social welfare and child protection coverage remains insufficient. The proportion of children under 5 who could show proof of a birth certificate decreased from 60% in 2015 to 55% in 2017. In Papua and Nusa Tenggara Timur, birth certificate ownership could only be verified for 19% and 22% of children respectively. Additionally, children in the wealthiest quintile were far more likely to have a birth certificate than children from the lowest wealth quintile, which reflects persistent income inequities. In terms of child marriage before the age of 18 and teen pregnancy among girls ages 15 to 19, progress has stalled since 2015. Among 20 to 24-year-old females who were married before the age of 18, more than 50% were from the bottom 2 wealth quintiles, indicating that child marriage disproportionately impacts children from low-income families. A key gap in meeting child protection goals is the current lack of data on many child protection indicators, particularly exposure to violence among children. Lack of nationwide prevalence data on violence against children is a widespread challenge for governments throughout the region. There is also a lack of data among all indicators on vulnerable populations, such as religious, sexual, and ethnic minorities and children with special needs. Lack of disaggregated data for vulnerable groups makes it difficult to target programs and policies toward children at the greatest risk and runs the risk of masking inequities. Moreover, the absence of longitudinal studies makes it difficult to understand the ways in which childhood deprivation impacts deprivation during youth. The government cannot work alone. Addressing those issues requires partnerships with other development actors, including think tanks and universities like PUSKAPA and CPC Learning Network as well. I can say with confidence that partnerships models between the government, local institution, and other international partners have been very crucial. These partnerships help the government develop and implement an integrated child welfare and protection system, strengthen civil registration and vital statistics systems, where more children gain legal identity documents, which allow access to health, education, social services, protection, and economic opportunities, and in improving equal access to justice for children. These models of strategic partnerships are needed to help the government identify the needs and design ways to invest as early as possible to make sure every child has an equal shot at making it in life. Equal means proportionately provide extra assistance and safety net to those facing adversities like poverty and remoteness, gender-based injustice, and abuse and exploitation. Inequities are not only unjust, but are entirely avoidable through responsible policymaking and governance. The National Midterm Development Plan 2020-2024 provides an opportunity to refocus policy to prioritize the health, safety, and well-being of vulnerable children through an emphasis on universal comprehensive services, responsive system, and inclusive policies. Addressing inequities in early childhood and enabling social protection for young people to thrive are essential steps for meeting Indonesia's international and regional commitments, fulfilling its constitutional duty, and ensuring inclusive economic growth and development. I think that's actually what I can share with you, what we have thought so far. And by this, I end my keynote address. Thank you very much.